Lawmakers demanding answers from the White House following special counsel John Durham's scathing report that found that the DOJ and FBI, quote, failed to uphold its mission of strict fidelity to the law in the Trump-Russia probe. Joining us now is former White House Deputy Chief of Staff Karl Rove. Karl, great to see you. Thank you for being here. I just want to put up some talking points that the Wall Street Journal, your favorite paper, my favorite paper, put in today in an editorial. 5 talking points about what this Durham probe proved. First of all, no basis for investigation. There wasn't a single U.S. agency that had any evidence of collusion. They were not going after a crime, but an individual. Second, bias. You think of Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Kevin Kleinsmith, Andrew Weissman. Third, double standards. Hillary Clinton's conflict of interest with the Clinton Foundation, contributors by foreign governments, was in many cases much worse in reality than what was going on with Trump. Willful ignorance, FBI ignoring evidence that it was being used by the Clinton campaign to execute a political dirty trick, and Russian disinformation. The FBI probe may actually have begun as a Russian intel operation. And I would add a sixth to that, Karl. The FBI broke the law. Kevin Kleinsmith admitted that he tampered with evidence to spy on Americans to get that FISA warrant. So how do you fix this?
Well, Christopher Wray, the FBI director, says that he has put in place procedures and policies that would keep it from happening. But this really boils down to, do you have people who are in the FBI and in the intel community who have an understanding of their enormous responsibility to act on behalf of the best interest of the American people? Because you can put all the policies you want in place, but if you got bad people in there, then bad things are going to happen. Think about this. We have the Clinton campaign hires a lawyer, Mark Elias, who turns around and one of his colleagues, Michael Sussman, whose name appears throughout this big portions of this report from Durham, he goes and hires Glenn Simpson at Fusion GPS, and he hires Christopher Steele, who concocts this whole Steele report, and they hide all of this from the American people. We have no idea that this starts with and ends with the Clinton campaign attempting to smear their political opponent. And that's why Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General of the FBI, said that the agents made basic and fundamental errors, and why the head of the FISA court said that they had information that was unsupported and contradicted itself, that they lied to the court in order to get a FISA warrant to search one of these people they thought was involved in the whole
Karl,
the whole mess.
The administration is just trying to literally walk away from all this. In fact, Jean-Pierre, the White House spokesperson, she literally walked away from the question. Roll tape.
What is the White House reaction to Special Counsel Durham's report on how the FBI handled the Trump-Russia probe?
I would leave it to the Department of Justice to speak to. We believe in an independent Department of Justice. That's what the president said when he was running, and that's what the president has said the last 2 years. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in Japan.
And bye-bye she goes. And of course, the press is mum about the whole thing. That's the thing. The White House has the press on its side. Can they get away with this?
The media were co-conspirators in this whole drama. Yeah. They didn't ask the tough questions. They took the Steele dossier because they're biased, just as there was bias at the FBI, in the intelligence community, there was bias in the media, and they got awards for reporting on this disinformation. They got prizes and plaudits from their fellow journalists. They're co-conspirators in all of this.
Well, they're not getting prizes in terms of circulation and in terms of ratings on their television shows. So it is having a negative effect on their bottom line. That might affect them. But isn't it really just going to take a new presidency to clean house in the FBI?
Absolutely. In fact, this was a missed opportunity. The White House should have said, you know what, this is a damaging report. We need to get this right. The American people deserve to have a Federal Bureau of Investigation in which they have confidence. And they could have taken a step forward and said, we're going to make certain that this problem is fixed. But instead, they ran to the plane, ran to get, I'm getting out of the country, she said.
As we know now, they have plenty of skeletons still in their closet that are slowly coming out, and that's why they can't investigate any further. Karl, we got to leave it there. We had breaking news. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it.